You're watching Total Boxing TV with me, James Hernandez. I'm delighted to say we're joined by Graham Everett. How you doing, Graham?
Yeah, all good. Yeah, good afternoon to you.
Excellent. You've been in boxing for quite a long time now. Training here in Norwich at the Kickstop gym. Just tell us a little bit about your background, your amateur days, and how you got into boxing.
To be honest, I think that's always been around me. My father was an RAF boxer. I had uncles who boxed. My father started an amateur boxing club, which obviously I went into that. Then I boxed at the lads club. Weren't nothing special, but I was okay. I trained hard when I was training, and picked up some experience. Became an amateur trainer. Trained a few boys who then turned professional with me. Then I became involved with Herbie, which was
Herbie Hide,
yeah, which was a tremendous grounding if there ever was one. Very good person to learn off, and learn with, and go through lots of different scenarios, which probably ended up making me a better trainer for that, for them situations.
What was Herbie like to train? Was he very much his own man? Did he listen?
Herbie listened to what he wanted to listen to. He would certainly listen to you when you were physically pushing him. He would definitely listen. People say Herbie, Herbie was this, Herbie was that. They don't know, because in the gym Herbie worked very hard. I couldn't fault him. He was a tremendously hard worker. Obviously doing pads and stuff with him was really educational for me, brought me on in that respect. It weren't always the easiest ride in the world, but that's maybe I didn't have the experience to deal with things at that time. So that was it was an experience, a tremendous experience, and I wish I could have that experience again now. And know what I know now, but like you say, you can't buy experience, can you?
I suppose Herbie Hide being a unique talent with natural born talents to be a boxer, and naturally athletic himself, Herbie Hide doesn't always come along. No,
there's somebody who's born with it, and to be honest, he had explosive power, explosive speed. That was his asset, and he had that in abundance.
And in the beginnings, obviously Freddie King was his long-term training. Did you learn much from Freddie?
I worked with Freddie King, I worked with Jimmy Mack, I worked with Brendan Ingle, I worked with Eddie Mustafa Mohammed, and Mike McCullum. I worked with all of them with Herbie, so I had to have learned something. I'd like to think that I took little bits off all of them. I sat in the background, I listened. I was always involved with stuff. I was always doing his pads and everything. But you can't work with people like that and not pick up stuff. That was a great experience for me.
It's given you a good grounding to where you are today. And the gym at the Kickstop in Norwich is thriving, would you say, with talent or boys coming through?
Definitely. I mean, we've obviously got the two Welshes, Liam and Ryan, and to be honest, I expect both of them to be British champions by the end of the year. Obviously Liam sooner than Ryan, but Ryan's in prime position to fight Josh Warrington. Sooner that fight can be made, the happier everyone will be. That's what we aim for. We've got some unbeaten fighters. Nathan Dale, who's now ready for a championship fight. Billy Bird's coming along nicely, Charlie Garrett, etc. 2 or 3 other lads starting out, and obviously you can never forget Sam Sexton. He's still only 29,
young for a heavyweight.
4 championship fights behind him. You see, he's looked sharp in his last couple of fights, and he's got his mojo back. He's been sparring with David Price, he's been sparring with Klitschko, and he's been picking up a lot of pluses. So Sam's ready to get back in the big party again.
Which fights has given you the greatest deal of satisfaction in your training years? I suppose that might be an unfair question.
Yeah, I suppose really any of the Welsh Boys have been with from the start, so I should possibly take credit for them. I mean, to be honest with you, there's so many different things. You know, like John Thaxton winning the British title, winning the European title when he had retired, finished. He came back under our tutelage in Norwich, and you know, that's you'd have to take great satisfaction from that. You know, getting Scott Moy's title fights and being an early man. You know, this from where Scott Moy started. You know, and just used to come in this gym and have a 2-round war, and it covered in blood, and that was him, and ends up being a good fighter, boxing for a title on television. That gives me and John a lot of pleasure. You know, listen, every day is a pleasure. I'm living my life. I do, you know, I basically do what I want to do. You know, I start the day when I want to start, and there's not many people can say that. So it's a tremendous life. Tough at times, but brilliant.
What's a normal working day for you?
Probably 9 o'clock in the morning, 9:30, finish about 5 in the afternoons, and that'd be 6 days a week. Not so long on a Sunday though.
Yeah. And you wouldn't want it any other way?
No, you get what you put in. I can't expect boys to give their all if I'm not giving my all. You know, and that's how I see it. I've got a great assistant in John now, who's you know, I share the workload with him. Brilliant, you know. We've got 2 or 3 other trainers coming through, so the whole setup is really good. The amateur gym down there is really good, so brilliant. Yeah, good times ahead.
So let's get this straight. So you've trained British champions, European champions, Commonwealth champions, prize fighter champions, Southern area, English.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you get the recognition that you deserve?
I don't mind.
Because a lot of people won't know that, will they?
No.
I mean, being tucked away here in Norwich, would you like more recognition for that?
Not particularly. You know, listen, I'm happy working away as I am. I've got the respect of the boxers I work with, and most people who have been around boxing for a while know me, respect me, ask my opinions, I give them theirs. I ask their, you know, boxing's a family. You know, we might not always get on, but you know, me and other trainers will be against each other. But you know, it's just, you know, I think I get the respect off the right people. Yes.
And that means more than anything, that doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. You know, as long as my boxers respect me and do as I ask, you know, that's everything to me. You know, that's good. And I have to mention my family, who is very supportive to me as well. You know, I have Suzanne, a tremendously understanding partner, 2 good kids who are both boxing fans. You know, it wouldn't be the same without them.
Oh, you're the type of guy that trains, eats, lives and breathes boxing. Would you then go home and watch boxing tapes and DVDs? And,
yeah, don't stop.
Yeah,
don't stop. That's how it is.
And I suppose having a supportive family in that respect is a big help. But there's nothing else on TV apart from boxing.
Yeah, well, we've got Box Nation, we've got Sky Sports. If I haven't watched it, I recorded it, and then I get round it. You know, but that's it. That's your life. You know, this is it's the greatest sport there is, and it's potentially the most dangerous sport there is. So you know, you can't go in there half-cocked, you can't go in there unprepared, and watching every little thing. You know, you can just find little things. You look for little mistakes that your opponents make. So you know, you just have to live the life, and that's simple.
And in your opinion, and putting you on the spot a bit, what's been the best British fight in a British ring that you've ever seen?
For a whole occasion, I would have to say Frotch and Groves, I think, was his second fight the other night. For boxing, you know, there's been across the waters. In America, there's been 1 or 2 potentially super fights. What haven't been super fights, they've flagged it a little bit. But you know, the whole occasion, the 80,000 crowd, full respect to Matchroom Sport for putting that on, and the fight itself was good. I mean, I didn't know up until the puncher was winning. I had one slightly ahead and then the other, and it looked, you know, but full respect to George Groves and Carl Frotch. The whole occasion was tremendous. Probably one of the best fights I've seen would be Liam against Appleby.
Yes, yeah,
you know,
that was one of the first fights. First night Boxing Nation.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
What a fight, you know, and I was involved in that, so I take a lot of pride out of that. Yeah, and there's been great fights everywhere, you know, but like you say, that's two good answers for me.
And switching things back and onto you, and back in the early days, when can you remember the first time you laced a pair of gloves?
I think I was about 10 years older than my dad. I think, you know, it was just that things were a lot different in them days. It was the early 70s. You know, there's different sort of training. You know, everybody sparred loads and stuff like that. You know, there wasn't diet and stuff wasn't involved in all that. You know, so much then. But yeah, I've learned a lot. I've come a long way. I've learned a lot, and you know, I've enjoyed the journey.
How many amateur fights did you have?
I would say I'd probably be right in saying about 45. You know, junior and senior bouts, so spread over a few years.
And you won?
Just over half. I would say just over half.
When did you soon realise that it was actually the training that you wanted to go into? When did that
come
about?
To be honest, when I was at the lads club in my last year as a senior boxer, I think it was 27, 28, and they kept saying to me, well, don't go, you know, we want you to stay as a trainer. And I kept thinking about it. And I took a year out. I took 1 year out and went out and done different things and stuff, but it did draw me back in. You know, I started doing things like weight training and different stuff, but all of a sudden we started a little gym at the back of a pub called the Canary up the Heartsease, and we had a little gym there with Roger Howes, and that's where it started. You know, and it went from there, lads club, and then Cliffy Eldon, Mark Atkins went pro with me, and obviously Earl Ling, etc. So that's where the journey started, and that's where we are now.
And you've got John Flaxton helping out in the gym now?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I had a great time with John as a fight and trainer together. We were very much a one-to-one basis, and I really enjoyed with him. I think I grew up as a trainer working with him. You know, when you all of a sudden train a British champion, and you justifiably train a British champion. Obviously there was other people involved in it, you know, with Neil Featherby, John Ingle, etc. But you know, obviously I was considered the trainer, so it was a big boost for me. It was, you know, and then he won the European title. All of a sudden, you won a British and you've trained a British and European champion. So it is a big boost, and you know, I was really pleased to have done that.
What makes a good boxing trainer?
Somebody's got to be very patient. Everything. You need 10 out of 10, really, don't you? You need patience. You need brains. You need determination. You need get up and go as well. There's no good a trainer walking in and not looking too interested. You need to spring through them doors and be happy. Come on, lads. You know, you see the boys when they walk in the gym and they don't really fancy it. You've got to be everything. You know, you've got to be you've got to be there for them. You've got to be their heirs, and it's a tough job. It's a tough job, but it's something I've enjoyed, and I wouldn't change it for anything.
Does a fighter make a trainer, or does the trainer make the fighter?
Both, really. I think, you know, you can get fighters who do really gel, you know, with a trainer. You take, like, I'd say a great example would be Ricky Hatton and Billy Graham. You know, that was never broke, so they shouldn't have tried and fixed it. It went really well, and I thought they worked tremendously. You know, I was involved with Herbie in them years at tremendous times. They were, you know, and it's like Naz with the Ingles, wasn't it? You know, I suppose there is an element you're only as good as what you work with as well. You know.
Yeah. What was your fondest memory of Herbie in a boxing ring?
I would say possibly beating Tony Tucker in Norwich.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was brilliant. You know,
that was a big night, wasn't it? Sport
a fantastic night. Everybody on the feet. I think it was about 5,000 crowd. It was tremendous. You know, that was a brilliant occasion. John, who wasn't with me at the time, he was still with the Ingles, won on the undercard, and it's a good event.
The Emmanuel Augustus? No, that wasn't.
No.
What was the Emmanuel Augustus fight? He lost that fight, didn't he?
Yes, he boxed.
That was on a Herbie Hide undercard, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the night he beat Woody Fisher.
Woody Fisher.
Yeah.
And that was another night you were involved in, wasn't it?
Yeah. I trained Herbie for that fight, really.
Can you see those nights returning to Norwich, those big nights when everyone in the boxing fraternity turns up and watches?
Yeah, I think if you, I mean, it's definitely not beyond the likes of Liam Walsh to fight for a world title. I genuinely believe that. And you know, you've seen Anthony's in our gym today. Hopefully he'll move on to big things, which he...
Anthony go.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll move on to big things. You know, he's with the top promoters, and you know, it seems like promoters are sort of working together now a little bit as well. You know, Golden Boy works with him, and so it can easily happen now. So fingers crossed, we'll get all our top boys together on the same night, and I think, you know, you'd have a tremendous show. Obviously, the venue's always a problem in Norwich. You know, Mervyn Turner's been absolutely fantastic with Shamrock Promotions. With you know, he's got things really going again here. You know, it's been tremendous. Been tremendous.
Boxing very much in your blood. It's been your life. How many more years left in boxing for you?
I see no end. I see no end. As long as I'm enjoying it, as long as I keep involved, yeah, that's the main thing. As long as I enjoy it, you know. I'm 53 now, so you know, I'd still give them 12 hard rounds on the pads and body bags each fighter. So that's not beyond me. So until I probably can't do them sort of things, then maybe that's time to call it a day. But no, I love every minute I'm in the gym.
Graham, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time. Thank you.